TNT Sports welcomes you to ISM Raceway tonight for the running of the Can-Am 500 presented by ISM. A chilly early November day here in the Valley of the Sun. Tonight we're going to be under the lights for the second race in the round of 8. Right now there is some news, breaking news that we need to clear. Jacob Tube with yet another pole. He will be starting with teammate Nate Sherman to his outside. And 7 of the 8 chasers start in the top 10. Whereas the 8th, Dylan Murway starts all the way back in 34th due to failing pre-qualifying inspection and being barred from taking any time. Also, Alvin Alonso was involved in a pretty vicious practice wreck Thursday night. He was sent to the hospital. He will be able to race this evening. Time to take a look at your starting lineup presented by the new Can-Am Spyder. In row 1, we have the Liberty University Chevrolet and the Lowe's for Pros Chevrolet. Beginning tonight from row 2, we have the Great Clip Chevrolet and the Exalta Fix Auto Chevrolet. Beginning from row 3, we have the Target Chevrolet and the Hassan Nation Chevrolet. Starting tonight from row 4, we have the Tide Toyota and the Furniture Row Toyota. Beginning tonight from row 5, we have the Stanley Tools Toyota and the M&M's Caramel Toyota. Beginning tonight from row 6, we have the FedEx Express Toyota and the Rush Truck Center Chevrolet. Starting from row 7, we have the Dow Chemicals Chevrolet and the Smithfield Ford. Beginning from row 8, we got a couple of Roger Penske teammates, the White Deuce Ford and the Pennzoil Ford. While we're looking through the rest of the field tonight, why don't we put Caleb Hoffman up on the radio. Hey, Caleb Hoffman, this is Wally Dahlback back up in the TNT booth. You got us? Yes, sir. 10-4. How about it? You won Saturday night at Texas. You come in with a strong top 10 starting spot. How do you feel about your chances of possibly repeating tonight? Oh, we feel great. This is quite a physical race. In terms of how short it is, it's basically a sprint for us. Our goal is to try to keep this Stanley Toyota out of trouble here in these 14 laps, and hopefully we'll be up at the end when it matters. These 18 laps, and hopefully we'll be up at the end where it matters. All right, 10-4. Have a good one. Run down there tonight. 10-4, you too. And let's take a look at our 6 HD onboard cameras tonight. These 6 cameras can also be seen on our Adult Swim feed. You can watch it on adultswim.com. Or if you flip it over to Cartoon Network, you can watch the simulcast of this race with MRN audio dubbed in with our broadcast team. And these 6 drivers we're about to list will have uncensored audio feeds. Jacob Tube with the Liberty University on board. Apollo Moon with the Exalta on board. Joshua Leanbatch with the M&M's on board for tonight's race. Joseph Lombard with the Click and Close on board, starting back in 14th tonight. Hunter Miller starting 3rd. He will bring the Great Clips on board. And WUB Network, starting 8th tonight, will bring the Furniture Row on board. Like Caleb Hoffman was talking about, there's going to be 18 laps. Some of the major keys of this race. It's a very physical race, especially when this place was reconfigured in the fall of 2011. Opens up a bunch of passing lanes. However, you have to come back up eventually, otherwise you're going to crash. Ash down in turn 3. There have been many crashes in the past. Some have changed. That very spot has changed the course of championships. And it could very well be the case tonight. 18 laps here tonight, ISM. Hendrick Motorsports have the first 2 rows tonight. Who's going to join Caleb Hoffman in Atlanta? We're underway. Pretty tame here at the back. Looks like a couple drivers are starting to slip. As we head back down into turn 3, Caleb Hoffman sucked in the middle of a 3-wide situation with 18 of Joshua Leanbatch and the 3 of Jonathan Morrison. Morrison sideways here coming off 4. Jacob Tube is going to lead this first lap. Oh, we got trouble behind them already. Several cars getting together. Eminem's Cup Series in it. Blake Dillon in it. Noah Spalding sliding across the racetrack. Where's Dylan Norway in all this? Caution is out. There you see, in the midst of all the wreckage, Peyton Beasley in the 6 had a big involvement in that. Also involved is What If Racing, the 83. And Xavier Sodreska in the 21. All right, we're going to have to take a look at that left rear, right rear when you bring it in, bud. Hey, also scraped along the wall, too, just so you know. Definitely got quite a bit of damage there. Doesn't look... I don't think the damage on the 21 doesn't look too bad when you're want to take a look at it. But that is definitely a lot. Definitely cripple up that car. As you see, What If Racing definitely at the brunt of this. Is he was the car that basically pushed the 25 around and would set this chain reaction off. Peyton Beasley also going behind the wall. We talked about this in pre-race. Was how physical this race gets. It's a 1-mile racetrack, but that dog leg and how tight the crazy starts and restarts get is more often than not the big deciding factor in these races. Actually, if you really think about it, Blake Dillon doesn't have a lot of damage. You can just push the nose down, but Eminem's Cup Series is done. Noah Spalding is done. Blake Dillon will probably be multiple laps down. And think about it, this just took 4 cars out of the race. Luckily, Dylan Murray was nowhere near any of this action. Or any other chasers involved. As we take a look at the cut line, which we will be referencing throughout this broadcast. As of right now, if you're somebody like Caleb Hoffman, you're going to be enjoying tonight, especially with that win. If you're somebody like Derek Lewis, Jacob Tube, WB Network, they're currently the only 3 guys in as at the moment. If the championship race were to be at Brighton next week, those would be the championship 4, and then Josh Malinbach would be left out. Dylan Murray would be left out. Nate Sherman would. I misspoke earlier. Nate Sherman would be in 3rd with his teammate. Then Derek Lewis would be the last guy in on points. And then WB Network, Josh Malinbach, Zox Moon, and Dylan Murray would be the drivers outside the cut line. Hunter Rizzoni, Dylan Murray, WB Network, and Josh Malinbach would be the 4 guys outside the cut line. As we speak, Caleb Hoffman, after that initial start, was shuffled all the way out to 16th with that win. But he does have the win, so that definitely takes the less of the sting out of it. And back in the gas, we're racing. Jacob Tube with an amazing jump on the inside. He was able to clear his teammate that time by. And look at this further back. Dylan Murray, 3 wide off of turn 2. All right, 3 wide, turn 2, 3 wide. Wide and 2, wide and 2. Ow. 3 wide and 2, 3 wide and turn 2, 3 wide, 3 wide. Wide and turn 2. Look at this. Dylan Murray making that far outside lane work on this restart. And he's in the middle of the hornet's nest here as we make it down to turn 1. 3 wide, 3 wide, watch it, 3 wide, watch it, 3 wide. Now, I have no idea where you're at or what you're doing. You're doing fine. Try to get down here, try to get down 43. Watch it, 22, watch 22. Whoa, that was tight. I there, between the 22 and the 4. Balfin lead shaping up. Hunter Miller, Jacob Tube, Derek Lewis waiting in the wings while these 2 teammates go at it. Wow. And Hunter Miller and Jacob Tube are still side by side going back into turn 1. And look at this, 4 wide, 1 car all the way down just a few moments ago. On the racetrack, that is Hot Wheels 44. Look at this. There's going to be those times where, especially on restarts, drivers getting all they can for track position. And they very well might be using the bottom of the racetrack to their advantage, especially with how wide this dogleg is. And he passes all 4 of them nearly causes a wreck in the process. So far now, Hunter Miller has cleared Jacob Tube and has fallen into the clutches of Derek Lewis, who, as we speak, is in third. And after having some lucky breaks in the chase, after many people thought he'd be done after the first round, he shocked everyone by getting in, strictly based on how much of a wreck fest Dover was. And then shocked everyone on that late Sunday night that had Bowling Gray that had all those wrecks. And speaking of wrecks, we got a problem here off turn 4. Turn 4, as it looks like a couple teammates got together. Team cars. At the entrance of 4. Menard's Cup Series in the 27, spinning at the entrance of the garage. Oh, a couple more involved as well. One car has spun and clipped the tires. That is Robert Smith. Remember, he was eliminated from the chase back in round 1, so at this point, he's just trying to finish out the year, basically. The year. He's sitting up on the wall. And yeah, that happened. And in the meantime, if you're just joining us, there's a football game Wednesday evening on ESPN NFL 2K5 where Jake Plummer is going to lead his Broncos to the RCA Dome to take on Peyton Manning, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. That game begins at 5, hosted by Chris Berman over on ESPN. But tonight here on TNT, it's a full moon. It's a full moon in NASCAR's edition of Friday Night Lights. Dylan Murray has been aggressive to the point where he's moved people like it's a short track. Akin, he's even had to move his teammate. Here's what Hunter Rizzoni had to say. Yeah, you better tell that 4-spotter to chill out or I'm going to come after that mother and put him in the fence, asshole. It's lap fucking 5. What were you trying to gain out of racing on lap 5? Take a chill pill for me, bud. We're maybe down. We'll see him around. Take a chill pill for me here. He knows. They talked about this in the pre-race. Dylan knows what's on the line with how many setbacks he's had, especially with qualifying issues earlier in the evening. He knows what's on the line and at stake. Which means he has to race aggressive to try to get to the front because he knows a spot to Atlanta's waiting for him. And by the way, as while we're here, let's look at our Liberty University race menu. As we look at some qualifying and race sessions, Brighton. It was announced. So qualifying will be at 5 p.m. Eastern on CNBC from the Brighton High School track and field in Brighton, Colorado. And then coverage for that race will begin at initially 6:30, but Denver forecasters were expecting a lot of snow for Colorado, and a lot of rains turning into snow over that week, throughout the next week for Brighton. So they moved the start time up about 2 hours. So now race footage for that will begin at 4. Coverage will begin at 4 over on NBC, and it will also be simulcast on your local MyTV20 affiliate. And then the championship race, Championship Sunday, with a special 2-hour pre-race show with an intro and a motivational speech narrated by Baltimore Ravens legend Ray Lewis. That begins at noon over on NBC, and coverage of the Napa 500 will begin at 3 Eastern over on NBC Sports. And then after that, we crown champion. Well, there's been 2 cautions and already emotions running high. Let's go scan all and listen to Nate Sherman spotter Earl Barbron as he guides his driver through the restart chaos that will follow. Ready? All right, come on, green. Green, stay with 5, stay with 5, stay with 5, stay with 5, stay with 5. Caution's out here. Caution. Oh, they're piling up again. And behind. Further back. The one did not get going, gets turned and clogs the entire back half of the group. Blake Dillon piles in late, and the caution comes out. All right, that was nice. Thanks for bunching up the start, 24. Hope y'all appreciated that move. So many cautions. So Blake Dillon's day has just gone from bad to worse. Basinger just got tipped into the wall. Hot Wheels 44 with a lot of splitter damage. So we know Blake Dillon is done. Xavier Sodreska is done. So we're down 28 people on the racetrack. Now this is the attrition could very well be a big issue tonight, and who wins this race and who doesn't. It was the same way last Saturday at Texas with 2 big crashes early on. We had 3 cautions in the first half of this race. We are officially in the second half. Here on TNT, and This race has been going a little long because of some of these cautions and cleanup. They have frozen the lap count, which means we will not go. That is because of the oil that was popped by the 10. We will not go, so this will give us time to take a quick break. You're watching the Can-Am 500 on NBC on TNT. All right. So this race was supposed to go green shortly before 9 o'clock here on the East Coast. We went green at 6:02 p.m. local, and things were hot early. Early in the first big rack of the evening, M&M's Cup Series got pinched into the wall, setting off a massive chain reaction involving 6 cars, and that will not be the first time we see the big one. Dylan Murway, been one of the biggest talks of the evening. With his march to the front, attrition has partially helped it, but also it was his own driving skills. He makes crazy moves like he did by moving to the outside lane on an early restart, passing multiple cars, nearly getting wrecked by the 22. He currently sits in 7th and 5th right now as we speak after pit stops. And the second caution came out for a 3-car incident involving 2 Richard Childress teammates and Robert Smith sitting on the inside wall in turn 4 on the front stretch. A lot of great racing is happening tonight. And we're just getting started. Valley of the Sun, remember, there is a chase berth on the line, so that's why a lot of drivers are racing harder tonight, especially the 4, the 18. 78 was just hit with a speeding penalty. So he will be restarting 26th this time by. And Jacob 2 brings the field back to the green, but gets a terrible restart. Watch him here. Come on. Come through. Hunter Miller gets clear of the chaos that ensues. Jacob Tube all the way downstairs. A lot of people going downstairs on this restart. Contact behind between the 4 and the 11. And heavy contact as well, as now there's smoke off the left rear. Look at this hornet's nest further back. While up front, Nate Sherman races side by side for the lead with Jacob Tube. The smoke is starting to go away on the 11. There's a huge hornet's nest further back. And Apollo Moon all the way downstairs, down in the back. Up front, Nate Sherman still racing side by side with his Hendrick teammate. There's a 5-car breakaway at the front of the field. Now we got a car spinning and a big wreck. Back it down. Sports Center Cup Series gets turned. Apollo Moon gets also in this as well, and it piles up multiple cars involved in this. Teammates in it. Derek Lewis is in it. He may have gotten a piece of this. A big wreck down here in turn 3. Oh, more people get in this late. That's Jessica Shelton with a big hit. Caution has come out. And a massive crash late here near the middle to late stages here at ISM. The fourth caution comes out, and it's a big, big one. Big caution, big crash. And there's a lot of debris, so they're going to wave the red flag immediately. All the cars are being told to stop down in turn 1. Sports Center Cup Series down on pit road. And he is stopped in the 4th pit. And looks like he is pointing at, he's getting out of his car during this red flag, which is a big no-no. If you get out of the car, you're done. No matter what, Caleb Hoffman was down there. He drove away from this accident, believe it or not. As you see, Peyton Beasley, What If Racing, returning to the racetrack. And there are multiple people that are not. Sports Center Cup Series included, and he's having a pretty hefty face-to-face with Rodney Childers. Tell your driver's an idiot. And our Marty Snyder is right down in the middle of this. Marty? Sports Center, you are not happy with Rodney Childers. Can you explain to us what you said? His driver needs to use his damn head and get it out of his damn ass. No wonder he's driving so fucking blind tonight. He basically just door slammed us and spun us out in turn 3 and led to that wreck. He doesn't, chill the fuck out. He's gonna get his ass beat after the race when he comes in here. And you see the frustration out of Sports Center Cup Series, who is told he will be going to the hauler. He is done. He's got out of the car during the red, which in NASCAR, depending on the situation, if you're part of the wreck, the race stops you, and you drive in pit road and stop, that means you are basically done. It's like getting ejected in football. It's like getting ejected in Major League Sports, where if you get out to start discussing with another team, the opposing team or an official, as you saw right there, he pulled away from an official who was trying to stop Sports Center Cup Series from having his discussion with Rodney Childers. And you definitely saw it in his voice. And you heard it there in his interview. I will get him. Hey, he's got one more short track, which means payback. And in the meantime, Caleb Hoffman, who had that damage earlier, And while we're here, they have withdrawn the yellow. And what this means here, with the way this just shook out, all the chase drivers are still on track right now. WB Network was shuffled around in that mess. There's 25 cars on the racetrack. 19 are on the lead lap right now. Jacob Tube and Hunter Miller have been the dominant cars of pretty much all race. And we're going to restart with 6 laps to go. And judging by the way we raced tonight and the amount of cautions, does this quantify things are going to get crazy? All you got to do is just sit and find out. Green flag. Jacob 2 with an amazing start in turn 1. He's able to pull away from the 4 of Dylan Murway. Up. While he basically races to defend with a 4, is Joshua Leambach way down low. Oh, here. He played ate it to his advantage, chops the 4. Wow, up the racetrack. An aggressive move by the 18 puts him in second, bumps Nate Sherman up the racetrack. Now there might be a possible concern there with Nate Sherman losing so many spots. Dropping outside the top 5 now, as there are 5 laps of racing to go. And Dylan has moved the 18 up and throws the block. And Jacob Tube is loving this and loving every minute of it. And you see Josh Leambach and Dylan Murray are all over each other right now. And this just allowed the 42 to get up into second. We're watching this battle up front. Jacob Tube pulls away. Dylan is chased down the racetrack. Smoke off the left rear. Here are the 4. And there it goes. Round goes Dylan Murway off turn 2. Into the wall. Alright, sniff. Big contact here, bro. Big contact. Caution's out. Caution's out. We're out of the throttle. Out of the throttle here. Bring it down here. Bring it down. We stay green. Dylan is slowing on the apron. Jacob Tube has encountered lap traffic. When we get to the line, there will be 2 laps of racing to go. Dylan Murway is driving off the racetrack right now. Jacob Tube is enjoying a nice lead over the 42. The 83 moves out of the way. Dylan Murway has pulled his car out of the garage. As the white flag waves, 1 to go. Oh, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Derek Lewis, way back in traffic. Jacob 2 trying to negotiate lap traffic. Caleb Hoffman blocks is him here. Oh, trouble Hoffman up in turn 2. Ooh, there's a car hard into the wall. Couple cars, we'll get to that one shortly. As Jacob Tube comes off at turn 4, and there's more problems behind. Caleb Hoffman into the wall. All behind is Jacob Tube survives a wild and wacky wreck fest here at ISM. Great job here, great job. Watch him slowing up, watch him slowing up, watch him slowing up. Caution's out here, caution's out. Roll out of the throttle, roll out of the throttle. Get out of the throttle here, guys. Out of the throttle here. Caution's out. Great Friday night. They say it's a Good Friday is occasionally celebrated the first of Friday of every month. Tonight is a great Friday for Jacob 2. How about that? Championship 4, win about, dude. Yeah. Awesome job. Awesome freaking job. All day, you knew we had the best car, one of the best drivers in the business. Hell yeah. The cars that initially crashed each other back in turn 2 were Alvin Alonso in the 17 and Joseph Lombard in the 43. They were far enough out of the way that they were not a significant part of the accident that took place off turn 4 between Caleb Hoffman in the 19, Alvin Alonso in the 1, and I have a feeling that there may be some interesting things said post-race. There are a lot of angry drivers in the building. As we got several drivers going at it here. At it between the back of this group. Looks like Hunter Miller is upset with Hunter Rizzoni. Both of the Hunters going at it. And we got ourselves an altercation down here. Jacob Tube is doing burnouts. Great way to celebrate a Friday night win in a race that took a fairly long time to complete, mostly because of all the crashes. And this may get ugly right here is Hunter Miller out of the car. He is out and going over to have a little talk. And you see right here, he's quickly pulled away by other members of what looks to be the 48 team that was nearby. They were the first stall on pit road, as they usually are every weekend. Well, safe to say emotions were pretty high. Jacob Tube, in the first Friday night race of November, in the last Friday night race of the year, has just brought himself a ticket into the round of 12 and the championship 4 joining teammate and good friend Caleb Hoffman. And as we look at the championship grid after a wild race, (1941). These are the drivers that are now part of the championship 4 after tonight. Race that saw multiple wrecks. We go to a racetrack that is known for some chaos. Brighton, Colorado, the Credit One Bank 300. Live from Brighton, presented by VFW. Coverage for that begins at 4 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Qualifying for that race will be Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern on CNBC and will be simulcast on TNT. I'd say it was a wild night, but wild Friday night and early Saturday morning. But Jacob Tube survived a long, chaotic, crash-filled night, dominated the entire race, led all but maybe 2 laps tonight, and just got himself into the championship 4 with a win. So long from ISM Raceway. Tonight, see you in Brighton.